trip to Malawi this summer. It was a 20-hour trip between Dulles and Mbangwini, which happened to be where we based ourselves. We stayed in a small guest house there. But we also went to another village that was more remote, Kalakumbi. It's a 30 to 40 minute trip over a very rough dirt road. And it's very isolated, and when we first got to Kalakumbi, I was surprised by the fact that we had not done any mission trips in 4 or 5 years due to COVID. So most of the small children there had never seen a white person. And they were wide-eyed and staring, and some cried, and some hid behind their mothers. But they soon got used to us. Our first trip to Kalakumbi was very special. It marked the opening of the teacher's house for Kalakumbi. The school there needed a teacher, but no teachers would come unless there was a house where they could live. And over several years, First Presbyterian funded the building of a teacher's house. And they waited to celebrate the opening until we were there. And Bill Perkins actually was able to cut the ribbon for the teacher's house. It was very modest, 3 rooms, cement, outside kitchen, outside privy, no electricity. But they were so excited to have this teacher's house so that the school could get a teacher. Now, other projects, the men in our group worked with farmers around the area with drip irrigation systems. And they save a lot of water, particularly during the dry season when there's a lot of food insecurity. We took trunk loads of school supplies, and Catherine Adams and I were up till midnight many nights trying to sort them into piles of which things went to which schools in Kalakumbi and in Mbangwini. We also spent one night up till midnight pumping up soccer balls, which are like gold to the people there. We brought a trunk load of hospital supplies, including stethoscopes, bandages, syringes, and a very nice microscope for the hospital. We took a trunk load of reading glasses for the people in Kalakumbi. We did several programs, Days for Girls, which we did in Mbangwini, in about 3 schools plus a school for the deaf. It is a program that works with girls approaching puberty, talking about the changes that they will experience. I did a program on bats in both Mbangwini and Kalakumbi, naturally. And 25% of the world's bats are in Africa, and they are vital to the environment there. And most people know next to nothing about them. So we bought Bibles and hymn books in the language of the people. We bought paint for a building in Kalakumbi. And we took a trunk load of choir robes that had been used at First Pres. So these were some of the things we did, and it was very rewarding, but there were some things that bothered me a little bit. I knew when I went there that they didn't have much electricity, if any, or running water, but some of the little things, the principal of the school at Kalakumbi asked me to come by his office and sign something. So when I got there, there was a document, but there was no pen. And I said, "Do you have a pen?" And he said, "No, I share a pen with my assistant." And that just kind of shocked me. I mean, pens are just nothing for us. We all have pens all over our houses, our apartments. And for the principal of the school not to have a pen was just shocking. So I had pens in my backpack, which I gave him, but when they run out of ink, he won't have a pen until some missionaries come back. And then there was the health clinic in Kalakumbi. It had no electricity. It was very small, but it had a nurse, and she had a blood pressure cuff that worked with batteries. She hadn't had batteries in I don't know how long. we took her batteries, but when they are used up, it could be years before she gets more batteries. Batteries are just simple. We take them for granted, but not there. And then, of course, the hospital in Mbankwini, they're very proud of their hospital. They gave us all a tour. It's very, very basic. They were very proud. They just put an operating room in the hospital, but there's no surgeon. They have only one doctor, a general practitioner, and they have some nurses, but the equipment is not the greatest. They had 2 x-ray machines. The digital one was broken. The other one used film, and it was very antiquated. What really got to me in the hospital was the pharmacy. There was nothing in it, not a single drug, not a single medication. And malaria is still a huge problem there. It kills so many, particularly young children. AIDS is still a problem, and here was a hospital with not a single medication. They couldn't afford to buy any. So that was hard, and things that I never thought of on that trip. And I was saved by the fact that I went to a church service in Calacumbie, and it was amazing. They did have electricity, but they had no organ, they had no sheet music, and they had 7 choirs, and they were all amazing. And you could just feel the love in these people that were singing and dancing. I didn't understand a word they were saying, but I understood that they loved Jesus and they loved God. And it didn't matter to them that there were so many things they didn't have. They had this strong faith and this strong love. They loved their families, they loved their community and their neighbors. And so that was very uplifting, in an uplifting way. That was sort of at the end of the trip. And I left feeling good, but knowing there's so much to do. The people there don't decry the fact that they don't have a lot, but they embrace that they have this love and religion and family. So, thank you.